What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. I've hit up my USA contacts as promised. YBM and Troll and Toad have gotten me a pretty darn good spread on what to look forward to in the set, and some independent vendors also hit me up with their data to show you what you could be in for if you're going after cases yourself. To note, the prismatics are a bit odd. Troll and Toad pulled 0 out of their first 9 cases, but have told me that on their secondary bust they've hit prismatics. YBM hit 6 out of their 10 cases, and some independent vendors all got pretty lucky with prismatics as well. That being said, among all of them, there are differences from the EU and the USA for this. They all had Gizmek Kaku as their shortest card, hands down. But something weird that I'm hearing with iGas still is that certain people are seeing 0 to 1 of the non-underprinted, non-overprinted cards, while also receiving 5 to 6 of one of those as well in their case. It almost sounds like Konami would do this somewhat on purpose to have people say, oh, well, I pulled a bunch of this, you must have just got unlucky. Yeah, I just got unlucky. But when we look through these massive case ratios, we can see the averages and what things tend towards instead of that. But like I said, with tier 0 even, they opened 20 cases and were at a rate of like 2.2 for Lightning Storm, and they upped it to over 2.5 with just 5 more cases for the average. So there definitely is some variance within these, even on the larger pull rates. Let's just go ahead and get into what happened with Yu-Gi-Oh! Black Market here. They got a really almost even average on a Chi-Chi at Ignister at 29. Island, they got 25 total, giving them a rate of 2.5. Everything's divisible by 10 here because it's 10 cases. And by the way, if you're new, a case is 12 total boxes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Those usually are $60 a piece whenever you're consuming. So we're looking at spending $720 to reach just these averages. Lightning Storm, they hit 2.1 of, pretty unlucky. We see Troll and Toad do a little bit better. I'll show the numbers in a bit. So only 2.1 per case for them. Picari at Ignister, they saw 23 of them. And then overprinted, just like the EU, is Plunder Patrol Ship Braun, Plunder Patrol Ship Morik, and Sales Pitch. The main notable difference is that everybody in the US seems to have pulled less Kakus that has sent me data so far. And the ultra rares, the shorts stay true. We see that Whitebeard and Redbeard are the shortest there. We see Rose and Linkuriboh also pulled a bit less than most cards, and also their Dark Templar at Ignister is at a kind of low rate, but nothing too alarming. That's still for the most part above a playset for most of the ultras. Then in the super rares, Marincess Pascalis and Kujikiri Curse are both extremely shorted to the point where they're almost ultra pull rate. So this funny thing is happening where the ultra Plunder Patrols are harder to get than the secrets. Certain super rares are as hard to get as ultra rares. It's just a freaking mess. And then down in the rares, we see the Earth Charmer, Bururu, and Cross Sheep are very hard to pull. You're not even pretty much going to be guaranteed them in a singular box, it looks like. Now, the prismatics that YBM pulled, they have them off to the side here, and do also note that they took the slot of their secrets in every box they pulled the prismatic. That didn't happen for me in Chaos Impact, so that is interesting to note that it happened for them. But they pulled one prismatic Lightning Storm, 2 prismatic Rose, 2 of the Earth Charmer, and 1 of the Time Thief as Prisma as well. Thank you, Yu-Gi-Oh! Black Market, for sending in this data. And we'll see Troll and Toad here, where they have the Chi-Chi at Ignister, a bit shorter. Gizmek Kaku by far the shortest at an average of 1.77. This is 9 cases, by the way, so it's not just the same 10 divided by 10. This is divided by 9 total cases. Island, they only saw 2.22 of. They saw more Lightning Storms at 24 total out of 9 cases, being 2.66 average. Picari at Ignister, we see 23 at an average of 2.55, and then Braun at 3.11, Morik at 4.11 average, and then Sales Pitch at 3.55 average. And then we get to the ultra rares. The same thing seemed pretty shorted. They were super unlucky on Whitebeard. They only saw 2.44 total out of their 9 cases on average. Rose around 3.66, and Redbeard at 3.22, with Linkuriboh around 3.66 as well. And then everything else averages out. Among their super rares, they also note that Kujikiri Curse is shorted horribly, as well as Marincess Pascalis. Very, Very interesting. And again, 0 prismatics pulled out of this rate, and then they've pulled some out of their newer bust. Let me actually go up and show you some of this independent data. Here's one case from a vendor that sent in stuff. They have a YouTube video, I'll link it down below. They actually filmed the entire opening. They managed to get a prismatic lightning storm, but then out of the regular secrets, only 2 lightning storms and 1 Kaku. We see them get all the way up to 5 Picari Adignisters, though. Again, that weird thing. 1 Kaku, 5 Adignister, like, this is pretty crazy. And then we see Braun is also at 5, Morek at 2, and then Sales Pitch at 4. So when you go after an individual case, this is some of the variance you can see, but it still lines up overall with the data. And the other person that sent data in to me actually sent it in by Facebook. So let me read that off. I don't want to show independent messages, but this man, Dimitri, said he pulled 3 prismatics out of 2 cases. He got 2 of the Earth Charmer and 1 Lightning Storm. Out of his 2 cases, he saw 5 Lightning Storms, so still under that 3 per case, 4 Kaku, 7 Sales Pitch, 5 Picari Adignister, only 1 Achichi Adignister. So that's what I'm talking about. Only 1? Really? He saw 6 Ignister Islands, 11 Plunder Patrol Moreks, and 5 Plunder Patrol Bronze. He then saw 7 Whitebeards, 6 Redbeards, 9 Blackbeards, 7 Ancient Warrior Masterful, 10 Ancient Warriors Virtuous, 11 Ancient Warriors Saga, 12 Dark Templar, 11 Link Rebo, 12 Doyon, and 12 Rose. So he actually did amazing on Rose where everyone else isn't seeing it. So there is variance within these independent cases, but you're more likely to see towards these pull rates when buying the case. Now, I want to go over these versus their EU friends and take a look at that. So let's go back to cover what Tier 0 saw out of 25 whole cases. They saw a much more even spread. So if this is what's preparing us for no shorts in the EU, 3 overprints and then everything else being extremely more even, I'm interested to look and see how that plays out when we get even more secret rares. I really hope that's not the case. It can't be short printed if everything's shorted. I expect when I'm hunting down a secret rare to hope for a chance at 3 secret in a case more reliably, and this seems like it's very RNG based in terms of if you're buying 1 case, you could be seeing 5 Lightning Storms, and then 1 of the Adignister, or the other way around, 1 Lightning Storm, and then 5 of the Adignister. But for the USA, it does seem that Kaku takes that place, more so than any other card, where over here in the EU, it's not so much the case, and it's just randomly in the middle among the other, not shorted, but not overprinted cards. What do we even call these? 2/3 chance? Like, what are we supposed to do? It's a playset in every other case, while in the first it'll be like 2 in one case, 3 in the other, 2 in one case, 3 in the other. That's what's happening here realistically, and it'll be interesting to see how that falls out in the market. And the overprinted secrets, by far, they'll probably crash down. Let's see how the first day to market is actually doing. I haven't got to soak this in yet personally, so we're gonna go over to TCG Player now. They have all of their stuff up and nice in pictures. I just scrolled through to see those. So my first look at prices. All right, Sky Striker Ace Rose. People are like, oh my gosh, $1,000 card has fallen to 500. Now we see it towards 375. Of course this wasn't gonna hold up. Maybe if it's like Spirals and 2 or 3 years later, we get another Sky Striker meta that people like they're applauding. I still find that crazy for Spiral, by the way. Then you might see that $800 price point rise up, gamers. But yeah, this was bound to happen despite the waifu-ness. Lightning Storm was gonna carry. It's towards 500. People want 3 of these for their extra decks or going second decks in the main deck. I think this was the clear winner in terms of being prismatic. We have the Earth Charmer. It does lend itself towards there being the Wind Charmer, so being collectible from the past and people wanting to complete sets. Rest in peace, the Fire Charmer's hopes of that. And then the Time Thief is pretty cool, but I expect it to be the lowest fallout on market within a month or 2. But let's look through and see if things are reasonable yet on TCG Player already. Kaku towards 32 for how shorted it is. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. Lightning Storm towards 100. Unfortunately, usually the top 2 cards of the set should equal about 120. I referenced this for many different sets, the easiest being NECH, Next Challengers, where you have Virgil and Disc, but a lot of the times the top 2 cards tend to cling to around 120 together, and we do see that here. Island and is holding a pretty decent price right now. The Adagnister stuff falling to where I initially thought it would fall towards. That's interesting, so I wonder how low it really can go. Sales pitch, yeah, overprinted, but what a card. What a, like, Therio card. So I expect this to get hyped like in the past where you had Retort get hyped or Mystical Ref Panel. At some point, I think there will be some kind of sales pitch buyout despite there being upped quantities. There's only so many of them. Plunder Patrol will get hyped in the future, and what's funny is the Ultra Rares technically have a higher ceiling for these two than the Secret Rares in terms of the price. And we see that already on market from early sellers. $7.36, $6.44 versus, you know, the $7, $8. Like, the Ultras are actually higher. The market directly reflects this for the USA. Funny how that works, isn't it? And then looking through the rest, people are picking up Rose towards 7. I expect this to fall towards 5. Link Rebo, very much cheaper than I thought it would be at first. And wow, Cross Sheep, really? I guess this is what happens when you have a rare like this. I still would think this would fall down. It feels more like a super rare pull rate, even a little less than that, but really that much? Oh my gosh. Dark Templar Adagnister also up there. Geesh. Okay. That is very interesting to me. Holy heck. So, the first look at market is interesting. I don't really know how to advise moving forward. I still have to sink in these ratios personally, but my initial thought is people are going to be going after Lightning Storm. This will have a special edition, so there will be a coolant on market at some point, but it's also going to be facing hype from an upcoming ban list, hype from the Master Rule change upcoming, and yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very expensive right now. I want to do a video on that soon too, but wow, I did not expect the set to fall out like this. It's really nice to have it so top heavy. Everything else you're chasing might be worth a lot less than you initially expected for secret rares. Adagnister has been the most mentioned, like, archetype in my comment section for a long time, so it fell out this fast. Where does it go from here? Your guess is as good as mine. Please use my TCG player link in the description down below. If you're shopping for the cheapest cards, it's looking like TCG player is already very competitive for that, so you might want to go shop them there. Please like this video if you enjoyed the discussion and me getting all this data for you, and subscribe if you haven't already, because what are you doing if you haven't? Tomorrow, there's going to be a box opening, and only a subscriber can win my ultra rare pulls and up from there, including a Starlight Rare if I manage to get one. Thanks for watching, everybody.